You know, when you think about ancient empires, you probably think about land, right? Huge armies conquering vast territories. But what if a civilization's greatest legacy wasn't about territory at all? Today, we're going to dive into the story of the Phoenicians, a people whose power came straight from the sea, and whose influence was all about connection, not conquest.
Wow, carriers of civilization. I mean, just think about that for a second. That is a heavy title. Who on earth earns a name like that? And you've got to wonder, what were they carrying that was so important it could be called civilization itself?
Well, the answer is the Phoenicians. These guys were the ultimate connectors of their day. For nearly 300 years, they didn't just sail the Mediterranean, they basically owned it. They built this incredible web, this ancient internet of the sea, linking up cultures and kingdoms in a way nobody had ever done before.
So, how in the world did they pull this off? Let's get into it. They built an empire not of land, but of commerce, right on the water.
Okay, take a look at this. This really shows you their genius. See, their power wasn't about big armies marching across the land. Nope. It was all about this sprawling network of colonies and trading posts. We're talking North Africa all the way to Spain, sailing east to the Black Sea, and even pushing out into the Atlantic by 1000 BC. It was a true empire of connection.
And get this, these guys were daring. I mean, seriously bold. Just try to wrap your head around this. Around 600 BC, one of their expeditions is believed to have sailed all the way around Africa. No GPS, no modern tech. Unbelievable. Others went north, maybe as far as England. They were constantly pushing the limits of the known world, not for fame or glory, but for something much more practical: business.
Now, you don't get that successful just by being a good sailor, right? There has to be something more. And there was. The Phoenicians had this core business strategy that was, honestly, centuries ahead of its time. And it's the real key to why we're still talking about them today. So what was it? What was their secret sauce? How did they manage to dominate Mediterranean trade for so long? Okay, here it is. And it's going to sound super familiar. It was all about the customer. Seriously, they didn't just show up and say, "Here's our stuff, buy it." No, they figured out what people actually wanted, embracing the tastes of different countries. I mean, that's a business school 101 concept, right? They were basically the original multinational corporation. And just look at the kind of goods they were moving. Sure, they had their own famous products, that beautiful Phoenician wool, their amazing glass, and of course the legendary cedars from Byblos, but they were also like the FedEx of the ancient world. They'd pick up papyrus in Egypt, metals in Spain, ivory from Africa, and ship it all across their network. They made themselves the essential middlemen. But, there's a downside to being a super rich trading hub without a giant army to back you up. It basically puts a giant target on your back. So for all their economic might, the Phoenician story is also one of just incredible resilience against wave after wave of invaders. I mean, look at this timeline. It's just a relentless cycle. First, you've got the Assyrians sweeping in. Then, a few centuries later, bam, the Persians take over. And just when you think it's over, here comes Alexander the Great with his unstoppable Greek armies. One after another, the biggest empires of the day came knocking. So the big question is, why couldn't they fight back effectively? Well, the answer is kind of ironic. Their greatest strength was also their fatal flaw. See, Phoenicia wasn't one big, unified country. It was a collection of fiercely independent city-states. They were all Phoenician, sure, but they never really teamed up to form a single army. So when these huge empires showed up, each city-state had to face them alone. But, and this is where the story gets really interesting, even though their cities kept getting conquered, the Phoenicians' influence, well, it didn't just survive, it actually flourished. And that is their real lasting legacy. Just look at the Greeks, the guys who conquered them. The Phoenicians taught the Greeks how to navigate by the North Star. That was a total game changer at the time. Their ship designs? The Greeks basically copied them. So in this crazy twist, the conquerors ended up learning all the secrets of sea power from the people they had just conquered. So the Greeks, who went on to build their own massive maritime empire, were literally standing on the shoulders, or maybe the ship decks, of the Phoenicians. The Phoenicians might have lost their independence, but their ideas and their technology became the foundation for the next superpower on the sea. And that leaves us with a really big question, doesn't it? What really defines a civilization's legacy? Is it the land they hold or the ideas they spread? The Phoenicians gave the world incredible navigation skills, new trade routes, and, oh yeah,
just one more little thing. The alphabet that we're all still using today. They really show us that being a carrier of civilization might just be the most powerful legacy of all.